All right. So I was talking about my price list, and I'll finish off with that. Again, I want to remind you a price list is a great marketing tool, not insofar as handing it off as something you just give them. Use it as a guide. Use it as a way to differentiate yourself. So when I sell my packages, they don't have an album. But if they want an album, and I explain to them, I say half people don't want albums now, so they like the DVD. To me, that's for many the new album, so and they're happy with that. But if they do want an album, I have this package here. This has got the Bellagio from the album Epoca, 10 by 10. I also give them 5 by 7, same pose for each member of the bridal party. So a little extra gift. So the idea when you're doing your packages up, in my opinion, the best way to do it is to modify it so that you give a lot of extra added value, but it doesn't cost you a whole lot of money. Okay, that's why I used to do the family portrait for the bride's family, the groom's family. I don't do that anymore, but I'd encourage you to consider offering those things as bonuses because they don't cost you money and they're actually going to make you extra money because the family's chances they're going to buy more preprints. And I tell them, I say, I'd love to shoot your family before the wedding day because it's going to give them an opportunity to meet me. You're a wedding photographer. And I'll get to meet them. And by the time the wedding comes around, it's like, hey, it's Rob. High five. We know Rob. He's one of us now. Okay, so I'm creating that bond. Everybody gets that. Everybody understands that. So I weave that story into my presentation when I'm talking about all the different stuff that I'm including. So you take an added value bonus thing and work it up that way. So somebody asked me during the break, why do I only shoot up to 20 weddings a year? I'm happy with 20. I don't want to burn out. And sometimes I think, oh, I should double my prices and only do 80 a year. You know, just as you increase the prices, you've got to increase the story, that you got to increase the selling. You have to really get it more involved in that respect, which I could do. But those are just thoughts for now. But, you know, if you think about it, let's say I did 18 weddings in a year times $3,000 in pre-tax net. 18 times 3 is whatever that is. That's 50-some thousand. So if I make 60, 70,000 doing babies, which is about what I do, and then another 60, 70,000 doing families, that's a pretty good yearly income. Me and my wife live a good life. We travel, and you know, we have a nice house, and our daughter gets to benefit, and we go out for dinners, and we do what we want to do. That's ultimately what it's all about. And it keeps growing, you know. It's regenerating all the time. And I never want to take it for granted, because if you get stuck in 1988, you're going to, how many photographers do I know and that you know who have not moved forward? And they're just struggling. It's like a wasteland. It's all good? Are the subs on the up and up? Thank you. By the way, Glenn's got Bambi Cantrell coming in 2 weeks if you want to learn boudoir. Bambi is one of the leading experts. It's a 2-day workshop?
Yeah, it's Sunday, Monday.
Sunday, Monday.
10 and 11. Here, once again, well, she hasn't really told me. But we'll end up doing some here, like some of the class stuff and maybe studio stuff, and then there was some talk as to whether or not we could go rent a hotel room, because that's pretty popular nowadays too.
Yeah, that's what Judy Cormier does in Toronto. She books a ton of those out.
Yeah.
And I'd love to do more. I think that's a really untapped market. And I'm just trying to get my wife on my side. Well, I'm working it, you know. She doesn't quite see the big picture in that area. But last fall, we had a Fairy Day. It's the week after Fairy Day, she walks in the studio, in the back office, and she says, you know, we got to come up with more of these. Because she was just making sale after sale, and it was just such a shoe-in. I call it a pushover product, you know. And so I'm like, cool, well, we could have boudoir day. Hey, you started it. So well, that's my art. So I got a platinum version, and then I got what's called the diamond package. All I did was I increased it more and more and more, and added more stuff. So here I've given them the option, your choice of any two, if they get the basic package. In all honesty, I'm thinking of just getting rid of those and going to just with that. The idea is, you got the expensive package, and then the less from there, and then you got the one you want them to buy. And we used to have the econo package, which I don't even do. So.
Do you do any customization?
Oh yeah, I will, but there's not a lot that needs to be done. So, and I get asked that question, do I do any customization? I'm totally flexible. I will not lower the price though. But that used to come, my packages used to include an album, two parents album, the typical 24 8x10s. I don't really want, I need 3 parent albums because I've got, and I'd make something up. And I do that with family portrait sales as well. I really believe in that, and just customize it for them and give them a package price, whatever that is. They think it's special. So, but there's not a lot in this package that needs to be customized. What am I going to take away? What am I going to add to it? They want an album? Well, it's right there. I find people aren't asking for wall portraits anymore. They used to be 16 by 20 was a classic add-in. So, and they got the digital files. They can get one made on their own if they want. But what I do is I'll just show you right here. Aaron and Chris. Okay, that's the secret website that was on their engagement card. This one I just shot. I got 2 slideshows. I'm experimenting because I'm doing the Fusion now, the video. So I got 2 variations for them. One's made with Animoto, one's made with Pro Show Producer. But I tell them you can get, my wedding price reprints are reduced. They can take an additional 30% off the first 30 days. So if anybody wants reprints, we give them incentive and a good price. I mean, you can't argue with that. That's a really good incentive. Okay, and I might as well show you what it looks like. The online web images are very, very standard. Okay, just made in Photoshop, uploaded to our server, and that's it. So when I'm booking the wedding out and I'm telling them that's what they get, it sounds really attractive, and it's an all-encompassing package. It's got everything.
So if they got 500 or so images out of that wedding, did you load them all on that site?
Oh yeah, they're all in there. Every single image, all 500 and whatever was in there, are all on there from start to finish. Because it's nothing to do. It's just Photoshop, upload. I don't want to waste a lot of time. It's all about getting them in, getting them out, and getting them back again. Okay, so the price list, I go through all that, and I really don't spend a lot of time here. Then I say, here's your, this is just matter-of-fact stuff. Here's the reprints. They are reduced in price, and they give you an additional 30% off. Then I talk about the freestyle wedding. I just say, if you want to read that, you can read that. It's more stuff that describes what my photography is all about. And examples. Examples. Was that a repeat? No. So this gives me an idea to overview, gives them an idea, an opportunity to overview my entire style, to remind them of what it is they're getting, and some testimonials. I used to put a picture beside each testimonial of the actual bride and groom, and I'd have 2 or 3 per page. And I'd use the Courier font, the old typewriter font, so it looked handwritten, sort of hand-typed. It was a little messy, and designers would hate that, but designers think. People got it. It looked more homemade. So I used to do a lot of that in my old price list, my 24-page price list. So I think, and some questions at the end. I think y'all ought to have a price list similar to what I'm doing, and make it as long as you can. Now, if you're just starting out, you're not sure, just do it anyways. Think about what you'd like to sell it at. Do that price. This is so, so important. Now, if you're at the point where you've been at it a while and you need to bring your prices up, then go to it and bring them up. Doesn't mean you have to give it to the brides right away, but it's really, in my opinion, very, very important to go through the exercise of taking your price list, even double the price if you have to, and print it out, and then have a look at it and get uncomfortable. You got to work through the process, because in your mind you got to get clear on that that's what you're worth. Even if you're just between you and that price list, you're not going to show it to anybody yet. First time I did that was like 1996 or 7. I showed it to my wife. I literally doubled the prices. And then I went up to her, I said, here, what do you think? I got new prices. I do this all the time. I run ideas by her. And I just left it with her, and she gulped, and she's like, wow. I said, well, let's sit with it for a few days. And we did. And then we stuck with it. Mentally, you have to buy it yourself, which we did. But when you're just thinking about it, it's really hard to do. When you print it out, you actually have something tangible. You're giving it some wings. You're giving it some feet. So I encourage you to do that no matter where you're at. Create a marketing piece from your price list. Make it as many pages as you can. Add as many things as you can. If you're not sure about something, send me an email. Get my input if you want it. I'll offer my input as best I can. But I think you ought to do that. Put some work into it. Okay? And differentiate yourself. So some people ask me, well, do you, hand them out at bridal shows or mail it to people? We really, really try hard to get them in the studio. That's the most important thing, so that we can get one-on-one. I like to spend an hour with them, especially when I was really in the heyday of booking out weddings. So I think that's important. If somebody calls and you just offer to mail it to them, you're really losing the opportunity to connect. So it's ill-advised to do that. Okay? Unless they're calling from out of town, or unless you're in a position that kind of where I'm at right now. Like I said, they just call and they book. It's a great position to be in. Never want to take it for granted. I watch for slip-ups always, but I got what's called market position. Okay? I'm the go-to studio in my area. Okay? But I'm always still, again, never taking that for granted, always working it, always, always, always. So, but when you're starting out and you're just getting the bookings going, you want to get in front of them. I put all my prices online, so that's where I'm at. So you may not want to do that. You want to encourage them to book an interview with you. All right. Any questions on pricing? I don't need that.
How do you know, where you're pricing yourself? Are you going online and comparing your work to other people's work? I've read somewhere where they say, if you price yourself in one point, you're probably pricing yourself too low, and you should price yourself higher,
One of the worst things, in my opinion, is look at what everybody else is doing and going a little lower.
Yeah.
That's not a strategy. Go a little higher. But give them reasons why you are, You want the person who values that, and there's a lot of them out there. They may think I got $1,800 in my head until they talk to you and they go, oh, no, I want $3,300 or whatever it is. So I would go a little higher. Don't get too caught up in comparing. That's not a good thing. It's a bit of a good thing, but not entirely.
Where's James at compared to you?
He's like $3,900. He raised his price last year.
I have a question about if somebody does call, say, can you send me your price list, or you
Yeah.
your price list, and you don't want to do that,
I discourage it.
what do you tell them?
I try and get them to come in the studio. Yeah, and, give them a reason to come in, and unless they're from out of town, and if they are out of town or they just can't do it for whatever reason. I mean, if push comes to shove and I have to do it, I'll do it. I just discourage it. So if you have to do it, I would try the best I can to really connect on the phone, and I would follow up. and see if they wanted to come in. But I'll touch on this real quick. I brought this down to show you guys because I think it's really cool. And I'm not saying this should be your main marketing strategy for weddings, but if you wanted to mail it to them or hand these out at a bridal show. 5000cards.com. Anybody heard of 5000cards.com? He's from Markham. He's at WPPI every year. He's like a wholesale printer. He's in the UK, Canada, the US, I think Australia, Asia. He's got this global company that he prints, and like ad agencies and other print houses go to him. So they buy from him, mark their stuff up. Hello. The dentist is at work. But he decided years ago he was going to go after the photography market because photographers know how to prep the files. Okay, so he's not consumer level. He doesn't even go after other industries because they don't know how to prep files. He assumes we know how to prep files, and he's right because he's been after this market, and he still goes after this market. So 5000cards.com. Amazing. So here's something you might want to consider. We do this now for our baby's first year. We mail them this. So full color flyer, $200 is like $70. That's a good price. Okay, so I'm going after strictly images, right? High impact images. And inside here is the sales letter. So you could do that if you have to mail it. So I'm a big believer in sales letters, 4-page sales letter. Just printed. I built my baby business on sales letters. Okay, so when they get this in the mail, and again, you could do this for weddings, and you do a little postcard, and on the postcard it says, free gift, free gift, free gift, right? And more of your pictures. And I put this for the baby's first year to show them what the baby's first year looks like. It's a panel, and there's the free gift card, photocopied, cheap. They get $50 if they book it. So they call this lumpy mail. So when they get it, it's just like, oh my God, all this stuff. Wow. And it's like exciting. You know, if you really wanted to jazz it up, you could throw something in there, a little soother or something. Or I used to put stickers, Winnie the Pooh or Mickey Mouse, on top of the envelope when I was just 100% sales letter. So you might want to check that out as a marketing option. I'll leave that stuff out for you guys to look at. I have a generic one now for just regular family portraits and portraits. This is going out. I'm working on a new sales letter for that. I'm having a meeting with my wife on Monday night. I'm going to show it to her. I scheduled a meeting. Last week, my daughter was there. I said, ladies, I want to have a meeting. I want to talk about some stuff. And my daughter, she's 15, goes, you want me there? I said, yeah, I think you're ready now. You're old enough. You can be there. Get them while they're young. I'm planting seeds. My daughter gets it, you know. So I got a sales letter that's going with this as well, and it talks about family portraits. But I just think these are, on their own, not enough. You need to have more offer in there, but as a support tool, because we're so visual, you might want to consider it. And there's one for seniors. Okay, so senior photography with my latest offer. So that's one way to do it, but I wouldn't, again, rely on that. Okay, and if you did, follow up. Call them. Yeah, the babies, every Monday in the local newspaper, they announce birth arrivals, so we go look them up online. And, yeah, we just mail. That's how we've been doing it since '97. And we used to mail a one-page photocopied sales letter. That's it. And the phone would bring off the hook. This is designed for families and whatnot. So if I bump into you, say, if I'm invited to speak at Rotary, say, and you say, hey, I want to get a family portrait. Here, give me your card. I'll mail you something. I got something for you. Maybe I'll handwrite, hey, Tom, or whatever your name. I forgot your name already. Cor. Hey, Cor, it was nice meeting you. Here's the stuff as promised. Show it to your wife. I'm not going to rely on you. You got to show it to your wife. So that's what that's for. This is brand new. I haven't really put it into action. So, and the high school seniors is going directly into the kids' hands. I got a couple ambassadors I'm working with. So anyways, so I go through that, and that takes up to an hour. Now, the more they talk, the more I got them. And the more they talk about their wedding day, and they say, oh, yeah, we can go here and do, the more I know I got them. Who was it that told me in the hallway? Yeah, you said that you're normally quite shy, but what happened? You booked something the other day?
I went out of the box. I just asked them right there in the session. So, would you like to book your engagement session today? And
They said?
they're like, oh, yeah. Just got a new dog. Can we bring the dog? And I said, sure, you can bring the dog. How about we go out into the woods? You guys woodsy people? And they're like, oh, yeah, we love the woods.
There you go.
Yeah, and then they just went.
So I like to do the same thing, and I forgot to mention that. After I've gone through all this and we're done, and I'll look at them and I'll say, okay, so big question of the hour is, are you guys ready to sign on the dotted line and give me some money and we'll book this out and I'm yours for the day? And I ask them flat out, are you ready to move on this? And if they're squirming a little bit, I know they're not ready. I said, well, do you need a couple of days? I don't mind letting them go. There's a lot of photographers that say, you got to sell them on the spot, because they always call back. I just know they got to go home and readjust and talk to Dad and Mom, get the budget readjusted. I know that. So that's how it works for me. Now I do something what I call the walk away. If I've been spending a 24 up to an hour with them, I will do this, and it's a strategy that I do on purpose. I'm talking about everything, and I might have this page up there, because I've just finished showing them that, so it's still up there. Let's say I just want to show you a quick slideshow. I used to show them an entire wedding, but it's like 45 minutes. This is like, I don't do that anymore. So I show them a quick one, so I get them in an emotional state. Okay? And then I do what's called a walk away. And this is just it's like a 5-minute show. It's just for the guests to see. So it's a synopsis of the wedding day. And I'm doing video now too. So Fusion Video. This is created in Animoto. So I'll show them that. And explain what it is. I'm not going to show the whole thing. And then when that's done, they're in that state. I'll say, oh, I want to get you guys one more thing. I have a sample book of all the covers. I meant to bring it out. I'm lying. I'm totally lying. I purposely forgot about it. So I leave them be. Okay? So if I was talking with you two, I know you want to talk to one another. You need alone time. Right? So I'll leave. And I'm in the back, and I'm like, I know it's here somewhere. Hold on. And I get a sticker out. Wait a little bit. And I know what they're doing. She's like, I really like this guy. Can we book him? They've got to get together on the budget, right? Or something. They just need alone time. They have to discuss it. Okay? And I come back, and I can tell by the look in their eyes they're ready to book. Yep, we're ready now. Oh, cool. Little strategy that I do, and I give them this. I say, here, you can take that with you. You may not want an album, but if you do, you can check out the different samples. Okay, that's yours. So that's the walk away. Okay, so the last thing I showed was a little mini slideshow, and then I leave them be for a few minutes. I want to back up a little bit, and I think this is a really powerful selling technique. When I'm going through the wedding price list, and I created this because sometimes a groom would ask me about file size. Do you shoot RAW? And what kind of cameras do you use? And I really get him off that. I said, does it really matter as long as I capture good images? I happen to be Nikon, and I tell them I use the best lenses money can buy, and I'm always getting the latest body, which is true. Bodies to me are throwaway. As soon as something new comes out, I'm buying it. I use a D700 and nothing's replaced it yet, so I'm still on that. But when they get into pixel size, they're really being macho with me. And like, I want to know how many horsepower you have under the hood, right? So I tell them, look, I want you guys to understand something. The digital files that I'm going to give you may appear to be a little bit on the small side. They're 250 by 12 inches. I size them down to that. And I say, oh, hold on. I want to show you something. And it sounds like I'm doing it very spontaneously, but it's totally fabricated. So I've got a stack of prints in the back. And I go around the corner. I go, I'm going to show you guys something. This is a bunch of images I had printed up at Glasgow. Okay, let me show you. These are from the proof digital files from actual weddings. Okay, so can I show you so that you know that the quality I'm going to give you is fine? So I'm answering the technical side, but that's not really what I'm doing. I'm really selling myself. This to me is an opportunity to tell more story. And I realized that a couple years ago, that that's the opportunity. So I pull out a stack of prints, and I just throw them on the table, and I go, look. I mean, look at the quality of the print. It's pretty good, isn't it? And they're, oh, yeah. Well, you can make a 20-inch print from the digital files. We're happy. I tell them, I say, you could double that. You can make that 30 inches, no problem. Okay, so it's not an issue anymore. Really, that's not what I'm doing. I'm now going to go through each image and explain the story. Okay? This is Corey and John, Christ the King Church. We did all the pictures of the parents afterwards right outside the church, and we were walking to Peddler's Pub for a beer with the bridal party. They're like, really? Yeah, well, that was what they wanted, and that's what we did for their wedding day. And on the way there, I just thought, oh, let's do a quick shot right here. Boom, quick shot. So we did a quick shot, and look how funky that is with the blue sky. Okay? So now I got him into the story. Here's another wedding where the old dam behind the graveyard on LaSalle Boulevard, which I never knew existed, she wanted to go there. Well, it's a bit of a walk through fields and up and down a few mountains. And some of the graffiti her brother had created. They grew up in this area. So I said, we went there. She wanted to go there. That's where we went. I tell the story. Okay? There's a bride who, on her wedding day, it rained nonstop all day. But we still got a lot of really, really nice pictures. This was taken right by the patio door light. It was a very gray, dismal day. Soft focus. This wedding here, we were on our way to Peddler's Pub for a beer again. That's his dad's car. It's a vintage car that they used on their wedding day. Right in the middle of the road. That's a sepia print. Same wedding before. I talk about how I shoot the guys so they look like badasses, you know. And then I explain how I'm really good with little kids. Okay? If a little girl is really, really shy and having a bad day, I never push them, and I don't want you guys to push them either. But what's really a sneaky technique that I like to use is have them, and she thinks I'm photographing the girls. She doesn't know I'm shooting her. Doesn't matter. She's smiling, all natural. So I'm telling these stories. This is all natural light, by the way. There's no flash here. And that's the way I shoot. So I'm re-emphasizing and enforcing my shooting style. Okay, anytime you can tell them that, and they go, yes. Yes, we get it. There's stories that have to do with your area. Yes. This is the wall right across from Peddler's Pub. And they're like, really? Cool. Who knew? This is like 4,000 ISO. Okay, it's a candlelight ceremony. And it's a little grainy, but that's cool. It's not that bad. You know, it's less grainy than what the old film, high-speed film used to be. But that's the Nono and Nonna, you know, the grandparents in Italy, and they're holding candles, and I tell the story of them. And wow. And same wedding, different look for the guys because they had the old-style car. I shot it using the long lens and sepia, converted it to sepia because it looks good. It looks like something from the 30s. You know what I mean? So I'm going through each image independently, and I'm telling the story. And again, I remind them sometimes the guys get shot I call that UFC lighting, you know. And then I tell the story of the bride when her father sees her for the first time, how I set that one up, you know. And in this case, he pulled up the driveway. She was over. I asked her, I said, can you go with the girls and hide behind a tree? I'll call you out in a minute. He came out of his car. I went up to him. I said, sir, your daughter's going to come around the corner in a minute. I want you to meet her in the middle of the driveway and give her a hug and a kiss and tell her she looks beautiful. Tell her you love her. You got to tell that to some guys. So I tell that to he's thinking it, but I say, just tell her, just make her feel special. So, and 9 out of 10 weddings, I get this shot where she comes out and he sees her for the first time. I'm mostly after the bridesmaids. So I make sure they're in behind. I did in this case, but put them in behind, or I get shots of them. They always cry. They have a virtual meltdown. And again, I talk about them, and that was right by the YMCA on downtown, and they're going, wow, who knew you could take pictures there? Oh, that's a ferry shot, so never mind that. So I think this is a really good strategy that you could use. And even if you just had the pictures out just to show them, and if you really wanted to jazz it up, you can put them in a nice mat, make it look like an art gallery, and you could put on a pair of white gloves. So I'd like to show you guys a couple images and just tell the story. Now, each story, it's important that it's relevant to them and has to do with that area or something they can connect with. So I got more here. These are weddings. These are out of town. This is in North Bay down the road. So anyways, I got a stack of them, and I always use them for that purpose. You know, he's from South Africa, Zimbabwe. She's a Canadian. We have the International Bridge in Sudbury. Just by chance, the Zimbabwe flag is next to the Canada flag. So we went and shot it. And I tell that story because they wanted that. And I said, okay. And they're like, oh, wow, this guy is cool. We'll go to any length. And I talk about the Laurentian Lodge and this wedding and blah, 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 blah. You know, going downtown. I always love shooting the bridal party right in the middle of the street in downtown, whether it's my city or I'm out of town at a different city, because there's history there. And the shoes. I didn't know the shoes were so important until I got married in 1995, and my wife had a double walk-in closet stacked with shoes. And I'm like, what's that all about? Shoes are a very special place for a lot of girls. So I shoot the shoes. And I shoot when I get to the bride's home, I always shoot whatever's in the yard. Okay, I'm telling, maybe her mom planted those and did this every year, and it has a special meaning to her. And it also symbolizes the season, whatever season that flower blooms in. You know what I mean? Maybe she's lived there all her life, and those flowers have always been there. She's never really thought about it. And then now she's noticed. And she's noticed that I noticed. If you want to see how uptight a groom potentially is, get him to do that shot. Most of the time they're cool, but if I say I want you to jump, and I actually get in there and I physically demonstrate it, and if he goes, I know he's uptight. Not to push it too hard, but so I'm telling stories. The rubber boots, she had all these rubber boots for each of the bridesmaids. And I stuffed the flowers in the boots. Thank you. I bring these boards with me on each wedding. They're old samples. Okay, I just get them to hold it up to get this shot. I put thank you in there later in Photoshop. They love this idea. They think it's so cool. And on the actual wedding day, when you shoot that, all the girls in the bridal party are just like, wow, that is so cool. And all the detail shots, there's a story behind that. Maybe somebody bought it for the groom. That's a winter wedding. So anyways, I think you get the idea, right? This is, to me, a really, really powerful marketing and selling. They don't ever seem to get sick of it. You know what I mean? If you ever do a display at a mall and you have a lot of different examples, they want to come in and they're just drawn to pictures. They want to see what it's all about. So there's a story behind all these pictures. And that's what I do. My ploy is the digital files are plenty big to go just about any size. That's my cover story, but my true intent is to sell them by showing each picture and telling the story. Now, I'm selling them on myself too, right? Because they're seeing the diversity. They're seeing that I understand the story. So you might want to do something like that. It's a covert thing, just like the alone time I give them. All right. There was something else I wanted to go into. All right. Let's talk about getting leads. After lunch, we'll get into equipment and shooting. But I'm going to stay on marketing, okay? I may not be able to finish up marketing. We may finish it up right after lunch. But getting leads, starting with market position. Once you got that position in your marketplace, it's a real sweet place to be. And you never want to take it for granted because, you know, times change, people change. I think it's a fickle market, and anything could happen. So you want to always be working it. And it's something that happens over time. So I've seen some photographers just shoot to the top in the wedding industry, and all of a sudden they're the go-to guy, just like that guy from St. John's, Newfoundland, just like that guy from that town I was talking about where that couple I'm shooting in June, that came by to see me yesterday. You know, they came in and had their engagement shot done by him, and they were telling me that he's doing all the weddings in the town. He's booked solid because they love his work, but his longevity is questionable because of his the other things that may be lacking. I used to do all of. Anybody here doing bridal shows? Yeah? You done two? Yeah? It's a great place to and listen to that interview with Kerry. He's the bridal show producer dude extraordinaire and photographer. And the key there is if you can get a past bride, maybe 2 or 3, into your booth and let them sell for you. Okay? That's the whole key. And if you can get bookings, even a deposit of $50, $100, say, why don't I book the date out for you right now? We'll talk about it later. This is totally refundable. Just give me $100 now. I'll book the date, and at least you're secured. You'll know I won't give it out to anybody else in the next 2 days. Okay? If you know somebody's really interested, do that. It's $50, $100. What you're doing is a transaction, securing. And if they're not 100% sure, but they still do that, you're pretty much guaranteed. All you got to do is get them in front of you at the studio and do the interview, and it's done. They just need to go through that process. Displays, I have a lot of displays that I use. I'm going to show you pictures. I don't do bridal shows anymore because I don't have to. Well, I say that. It's really funny. I have a big bridal show display at one of the biggest bridal gown stores in town. When they do all the shows, and they have a big TV with my images. So all the other guys are going, the other photographers are like, hey, Rob's here, but he's not. It kind of became a joke, but I know they were a little bit maybe incensed by it. And hey, you know, I'm well affiliated with this bridal salon. She's a wonderful lady. I know her. I know the flower shop ladies, owners, the limo guys. I really like being connected with the flowers and bridal shop. If you can do that and work these people, get to know them. Don't force the issue. Get to know them. Develop a rapport relationship. In our town, it's a new owner. Her name's Kelly. She's a very dynamic individual, and I just love working with her. She suggested a trashed address 2 years ago. She always wanted to do one in the winter. I did one for her free, on me. Hey man, let's do it. I want to do that. You're willing to get out in the snow? So I did an awesome trashed address, gave her a bunch of prints, put some on her store. There's some in her store. So now when she talks to brides and they see that picture, she has a story. Well, who shot it? Moi. So I'm entrenched. I'm really entrenched there. Okay, let alone all the samples I got on the walls plus 2 TV screens. Okay, there's 2 TV screens in her store, in the front lobby and then where they tried the dresses on. So it's amazing. She's totally willing to help. So if you can get displays going, and again, I hear the question all the time, how do I get displays? Well, you have to make a connection with these people. You have to get to know them. You have to get out in your town, get out to meetings. If there's a bridal association, attend them, be active, connect with people, send them thank you cards, do a picture of their gown or of their flowers or of their cake, and send them a picture. You know what I mean? Just send them a photograph. I want to show you something, talking about sending them thank you cards and whatnot. I shoot a wedding. The next day I get a picture, and then I put on there, Erica Renee, thank you for the honor to be a part of the biggest day of your life. Love, peace, and prosperity. Your photographer, Robert Provencher. So I don't tell them. I mail this to them the day after the wedding. Okay? They go on their honeymoon. They come back. This is in the mail. I've been putting pictures inside now. You know, Kristen and Brian, congratulations to you both on your wedding day. It was a joy to photograph and an honor to play such a big part in capturing your memories. Robert Provencher and Danielle, who's my assistant and daughter. So sending cards, I've always been a card sender, and I send out a lot of cards, and using them in your business for brides is powerful. So you can send them to the merchants too. If you're just getting to know these people and you shoot a wedding, find out who the merchants are, send them all a card. You know, say, hey, awesome job on the flowers. You know, and create a beautiful picture. This is send out cards. Anybody with send out cards? Anybody? Are you send out cards? You send. Are you a distributor or a wholesaler? Oh, are you? I've been neglecting you, haven't I? Send out cards is it's a network marketing company, but I'm usually not all on the network companies. But this is just, you know, when I was first pitched send out cards, I thought, no, it's too good to be true. To send one card is like $1.15 or $1.20. That's all it costs. So it's like a stamp plus 63 cents for the card, I think, or 90 cents, something like that. So it's under $1.50. Send a full color card with pictures, including the postage. It's all done on your computer. And I've been using them. So when I was first pitched this, I was very, very skeptical. I thought there's got to be a catch here somewhere. But because they're network marketed and they don't have big ad budgets, they're able to keep the price really low. So they have postcards, greeting cards, and they have a triple card, and I send these out for my babies. So when we get a new client with a baby, I send them this. Costs a little bit more. See the baby's toes? Right? You could do that with a nice close-up of the rings being exchanged. You can do that too. And it says, congratulations, your house just grew by 2 feet. Okay? If I get a new baby in, and if I've never met them before, even if I'd shot their wedding, I still do this. But I really want to entrench myself when they get this. Oh, wow, who does this? I mean, really, who sends out thank you cards? So it's something that's very, very powerful. So, thanks for choosing us as your photography studio, Rob and Tina Provencher, Westmount Photography. So, and there's always a couple pictures. So you can have a look at those later if you want. Okay? So that's one way to create a special bond with your clients and to get connected with the vendors in your city. Send them cards of the wedding. Find out who all the vendors are. Get connected. So, by the way, if you want to know more about send-out cards, I can sign you up later another day. Just put your card here, right on it, SOC, as send-out cards, and I'll contact you later if you want to know more about it. I make a commission on anybody I sign up. So, just so you know. So, you know, we use them all the time for weddings. Again, I've been putting pictures on the inside. Weddings, weddings, weddings. I sent the coach for my daughter's, when she was in grade 8, she's in grade 10 now, I sent my daughter's coach, basketball coach, a card just because. It just blew him away. It just blew him away. He was just so touched by that. You know, just regular baby shoots we got coming in. I'll send him a picture with a nice thank you on the inside. You know, again, newborns. Dear Jane, never a dull moment when you come by to visit the studio. That's what I wrote to her. I actually wrote that to her. So anyways, that's another way to get displays going in your city and also using cards to connect for publicity purposes, okay? It's an awesome, awesome tool. We still got time, eh? Oh, yeah. It's 11:43. So I want to talk about social media, Facebook, websites a little bit, publicity as well. We do, there's in our area a wedding magazine, and I'm always submitting images. And there's also what's called Snap magazine. You ever heard of Snap? You have one in your area? Yeah? Send them images, man. Just send them images. Make sure you put the names of the couple, if you can tell a little story about that. But I've been getting a lot of coverage with this magazine. It comes out, I think, once a year. This is my picture, front cover. You know how much it costs to buy a full-page ad? Has anybody checked into it? It's around there. It's crazy. So there's my picture again. They usually put my studio name. These are not mine, but that's mine. There, they put the studio byline in there. They usually do that. They didn't put it on the front because I think it would mess it up, but they did put a byline here, cover photo by Westmount Photography. So I would just send these magazines images, get to know the editor. If they don't print them right away, it's just a matter of time. I've had so many of these. There's mine as well. And again, they didn't put the byline in there. Oh, yeah, it's in the corner. No, it's tucked away, but it's there. There's a wedding I shot. That was by the esthetician. They wanted to use my image. There's another one of mine. So they used that image for the reception article. There's mine as well. And again, I get tons and tons and tons of... And I do buy a small ad sometimes. I didn't buy one for... Yes, I did buy a small ad. Okay, just I kind of felt bad. You're giving me all this coverage. I might as well buy a small ad. So I bought a little $300 ad. It would just be wrong to not at least contribute. Okay? So look at the different magazines in your area. See if you can get some print going there. There's also another magazine called Sudbury Living. I get a lot of, I shot the cover, and I shot this cover. I shot a bunch of their covers. And I get a lot of publicity from them. And I think in this one, I shot okay. Well, all the inside shots for that couple. This one here, I shot a bunch of commercial pictures, interiors, architectural. There it is. They did an article on interior design, so I shot all the pictures for that as well. And there's always a byline in there. Okay, so there's awesome opportunity there for that. Let me show you right, there's the magazine website for the Sudbury Living weddings. There's one I shot. There's one that James got to cover that time. There's a couple examples from previous magazine issues. I think the byline's right there. Okay, there's mine as well. There's an example of what James had created based on something similar that I used to do back in the early 80s when I first started out my studio. Go to jewelry stores and offer a free engagement shoot. This is an old practice. So if you want to get engagement sessions, leads, if you go to a place like Ben Moss, and you can offer a free engagement session. They were really impressed with this. This is a larger store, chain of jewelry stores. They were really impressed. They were worried the quality was going to be substandard, but when they saw this, they were really happy because the logo was done properly. To them, that was important. So they were behind James 100% on this. 1984, when I had Mr. Photo, I used to hit the streets and go to all the stores in town. I had more balls than brains, and I just went out there and went after everybody. And I used to get all kinds of engagement sessions using this technique. You're going to get a higher mountain to climb when it comes to selling. You're going to have a higher maintenance client, but you got to train them because they get something for free. They seem to not value it that much. So you've got to bring them down that journey, down that road where they value you, they value your product, and they realize that they're getting something of value, even though they're not paying for it. Here's the walkway going up to the bridal shop I was talking about. These have all been replaced with canvas prints now. We have all canvas prints. But this is the black core. This product here is exactly this here. This was from when I had a display in the baby store. Same idea. It's black core. That's what this is here. It's a little pricey, but you put your money in that, or you put your money in an ad, which goes in and out in one publication. This is target marketing, right? We're target marketing. That's where all the brides go. And on this wall, this is all brand new. Actually, James and I shared this. We both do this simultaneously. There's a lot of business to go around. But on this wall, we now have a big screen that we split on. It's like 30 inches, and it rotates his image, my image, his and mine, nonstop. It's there constantly selling for us. And there's canvas prints all around it. And then over to the side where the change room is, there's more prints and another 30-inch TV. So we're in there big. There's the, I talked about that, so I'm not going to get into this, but that's the report I was telling you about. You got the PSD files for that on your resources DVD. Okay, before we get into equipment, I want to go back now. I know I missed something right here. I want to talk about social media and websites, displays. Any questions on displays? Affiliation marketing, that's what I call that. When you're going to where your target market is also buying their stuff that's non-competing, flowers, dresses, hall rentals, and you have an affiliation, that's one of the best, and it's virtually cost-free other than if you're doing samples. It's going to cost you some money there, but you're targeting your exact, narrowly defined target market. They're right there. It's low-hanging fruit. Just grab them as long as you can get the other vendors on your side.
In your handout package for couples, do you include a list of other vendors and things like that?
No, it comes out in discussion now. So one question I asked them is, where's your hall? Did you get your dress? We don't usually talk about flowers unless they ask me. Well, they don't usually ask flowers. They ask about DJs, sometimes about videographers. I recommend one DJ always. He's so good. And it's Bill, the guy in the interview. He's so good. The guy is first rate, first class, 110% all the way. He's double what everyone else charges, and he's booked solid. I say, get him. He's more expensive. He's worth every penny. And if you're interested in him, don't delay because he's going to book out. Okay. So a website is media. In other words, it's a delivery mechanism of your message. In and of itself, it won't sell for you unless you put some sell in it. So for me, it's just a way for people to get information about me. And what's that information entail? It's all selling. It's all selling. I'm selling them. Okay, one of the best selling techniques you can use is a testimonial. So I like to use testimonials. So Sarah, the girl with the wedding album that just went around, sent me a letter, so I put her letter as right there. These pictures look like they could be in Vogue. That's what she said. I said, oh, I love that. So, you know, I could probably take just about any part of her testimonial and make it a headline. You know, like how amazing the rest of our pics are going to be. We are so excited, ... There's a headline. Thank you so much for being a part of our day is not a headline. That's boring. Rob, I don't even know where to start. That's good. That's good. That tells a story. Said that. Family and friends can't stop raving about the pics you have posted and have been making comments like, these pictures look like they would be in Vogue. So on and on and on. Okay? If you have one happy bride, do what I did. Go to her and videotape her. Do we have no sound? Oh, we do. I shot this myself and edited it myself in a very, very basic video program. It's probably going to be all grainy.
Hi, my name is Kristen. I recently got married and I had Rob as my photographer for our wedding.
I'm not a video guy. Okay?
Excellent job with our pictures. They were everything I hoped they'd be and more.
Just a little camera, picture window, and a microphone, little cheapo microphone. Look at Mom. She's all like tense, right?
Absolutely everything. He put together a DVD.
I want you to watch the body language.
Ceremony, and it was so well done.
Ooh, zoom in! That's triplescoopmusic.com, by the way.
And the pictures he took, he took pictures in my bedroom. He captured my personality. Perfectly through our wedding pictures. Those are photos we couldn't have ever asked him to take because we wouldn't have thought to ask him to take those ones. But we're amazed when the photos came back and the things that they captured. And we'd always known, well, for quite a few years that we wanted Rob to do the photos because of anonymity. I am Valerie and I am Christina's good friend to do them for me.
Not the best editor in the world.
If the photos aren't captured that day, you can't go back and get them back. It's not like any other time. And the price of the photos is just something that can't be measured by anything else. The wedding party, there's Rock by Royston's right in the back, and there's one of the wedding party right in front of the rock.
Okay, I'm going to skip ahead.
Really nice at the back.
So I guess about 9 minutes long. I guess she's done talking.
Oh, yes.
They started lightening up as I shot more and more.
You could probably see the tears welling up every time I think of it because that's what you remember is what the photos were. You hardly remember having them done. And then DVD makes it so to watch the DVD to look at your pictures makes it so much nicer to view them and with the music in the background and the way it's all laid out, each photo comes across and it's 40 minutes long but you feel like you were sitting there for 10 minutes.
Okay. You'll see a difference. This was a professional videographer that James had hired. It was like $700. There's a difference in quality. I want you to notice the body language. What she's saying.
Hi, I'm Serena.
And we at Hodges Photography take our wedding pictures.
Shoo! Lobified.
Hodges Photography,
See how tense she is?
pretty much because he was a local photographer.
See her body language? She's biting her lip.
What did he do?
She's leaning into him. She's got her legs crossed. Her arms are hidden. This is all body language.
I've seen the blog. Also, too, a lot of the activities that he did outside of his business. So the OBS, Photo Success was one key piece. His involvement in the community in terms of some of the businesses that he was working for. And just
To me, that stuff is not a selling point. It's when she starts talking.
a nice feeling of
Everything she said could be a headline.
The pictures that I have seen of our friends and Amanda, we like kind of the feeling that they had to it. It seemed very, it had an editorial feel. It had a young feel. It felt
See, she's coming to life now. See her expression?
overly traditional.
Her eyes are lighting up.
It was something that really
She's going to start moving her hands soon. You watch.
So the name started with me.
She's smiling.
And James met us in the downtown core of Sudbury, and met us at a local pub, and found out that the pub was closed, so we had to find alternative arrangements, and he was pretty good at finding a lot of different places where we actually could take pictures.
And then James and Jocelyn came over to our house to take pictures of me and my bridesmaids getting ready, which were also my siblings. And took a lot of shots of me getting ready, the girls getting ready, my mom, my sisters, and all the little details that that I had kind of around the house that were wedding related. My flowers that were lined.
See her hands now moving? This is important stuff to know.
Which I just love to get some.
Shoes.
And just the little things that were important to me, he made sure that he captured, which is really nice. And then we went to church, he got pictures of the church, and I've never seen such beautiful pictures at church. Normally you see that they don't turn out quite so nicely, they don't have a nice hue. And we found that they had a really nice background after the ceremony. We took pictures outside of their families. And
I can't shut her up now. Eh? So she's selling for him big time.
because I was awfully particular in where I wanted to get some pictures done, and he was the whole entire time so hyped and so excited and just stoked about every idea that you could possibly have, anywhere you wanted to do, anywhere you wanted to go, anywhere you wanted to take the pictures. He was really, really good at it.
So anyways, what's important here is this is a great marketing tool. So if you have a client who's happy, you can easily do one of these. And he paid this videographer. I did mine on my own. And sometimes you can find a videographer that's going to do it for trade and do the editing and shooting for you. This is a great way to just further your message to clients. I mean, it's a testimonial. To me, there's nothing better. And plus, all the story that she's coming up with and he's coming up with is amazing. It doesn't get any more credible than that, past clients. So if sometimes you can really tweak that and show a client who are getting married at the same church that your new prospect's getting married at. You could show them that and tie it in a little more. So anyways, that's something you might want to consider doing. And all the different comments they're making, to me, is all research that could go into a price list, go into a special report, go into your sales message, because you know that what she's saying, she's talking about the detail shots and all the little, you could take her phrases and use them as headlines. All right, enough of that. So, online, you can make a DVD that you could send to prospects. You could show them that when they come into your studio. You can do all kinds of things like that. So that's one component that I think is really, really important. And I have mine right there, first page on my website. I got a link to my blog so they can go see. How do you stop that? I didn't mean for that to happen. I wanted to open up in a new browser. I have the best of 2009. I also have the best of 2010, which is right here. And my introduction. This is what I was talking about earlier. That's why I had shorter hair. This is 5 years ago. So I got to redo this one, update it.
Those days are gone. Back around 1995, I started really incorporating this storybook approach to photographing weddings. In my opinion, the way a wedding ought to be captured is through many photographs, being a blend of photojournalism, a lot of the candid stuff, and even formals that are posed in a very natural, easy
Subs are here? Okay.
That's the way I like to shoot it, because not only does it look good, but everybody has a great time during the actual session itself. And that's really important to me, that when I photograph a wedding, I want the parents to go, wow, that was cool, that was fun. And they love the images. And I want the bridal party to say, wow, this guy's really good. We're having a good time. Let's take more pictures. And of course, I want you, the bride and groom, to say, this is good. I love my wedding pictures, and I'm just so happy with them. I mean, that is so important to me as far as capturing your wedding day. Now, I do have to say this, as after decades of shooting weddings, I still get a big charge of shooting them. I love going to weddings. Every wedding to me is a very unique experience. To me, it's a very, very powerful event. Not only is it obviously the union between a man and a woman, but the fact that everybody is there, and often from faraway places, and there's this energy and all that. So I try and capture that. That's the way I look at capturing weddings, and I like to capture a lot of images. So you end up with, I don't know, 4, 5, 6, 700 images. It depends. Each wedding's different. But ultimately, what I'm after is a series of pictures from the start to the end that tell the whole story of the wedding day.
That's my little video pitch, also on my webpage. So I'll finish up with that. We're going to do lunch right now, guys. Food's here. 1 o'clock, we'll get back into it.